Pope Francis is in Brazil. He's greeted hundreds of thousands of pilgrims at Copacabana beach in Rio de Janeiro at a welcoming rally of Brazil's World Youth Day.
Receiving a warm welcome in Rio de Janeiro. Pope Francis has been greeted by an audience of up to 1 million on the city's famous Copacabana beach. He's been attending a ceremony for World Youth Day, an international gathering of young Catholics.
Before we continue, I would like us all to observe a minute of silence in memory of the young Sophie Morinière and her friends who died in a tragic bus accident while they were on their way here for the World Youth Day.
The celebrations on Copacabana beach are in stark contrast to the Pope's visit to one of Rio's notoriously dangerous favelas earlier on Thursday. Under the rain, Francis spoke out against selfishness and individuality and reiterated his support for the most vulnerable members of society.
Earlier in the day, the Pope went to a favela or slum, once nicknamed the Gaza Strip because it was so violent. While heavily armed soldiers were on the lookout, the Pope clearly felt right at home, walking through the streets, doing what he liked doing best when he lived in Argentina. Julio Cesar came here from a Buenos Aires slum to see his former archbishop.
He would take the bus and walk for blocks to come see us. He said he wanted a poor church for poor people. His humility has made believers of many who didn't believe.
The Pope says that indifference to injustice is unacceptable.
I want to tell you, you are not alone. The Church is with you, and the Pope is with you.
Also, words of support for the thousands of Brazilians who recently took to the streets in anti-government protests.
Mas muitas vezes se desiludem.
You are often disappointed by facts that speak of corruption on the part of people who put their own interests before the common good. To you and to all, I repeat, never yield to discouragement. Do not lose trust. Do not allow your hope to be extinguished.
A message cheered in the muddy streets of Varginha.
The Pope's visit won't put a roof over anyone's head or food on their table, but it does bring hope. In this country of extreme wealth and poverty, Francis called on the rich to do more to help the poor, saying a society is measured by how it treats those with the least. He leads by example, as approachable as a parish priest. And some think Francis may just be the leader who can get Brazilians and Catholics around the world back to church.
Francis had wanted to see what one of Rio's famed favelas was like. This is Varginha, home to 40,000 people and often referred to by residents as the Gaza Strip. Much is made of Francis's common touch, his desire to help those in need, and few are needier than those who live in places like this. This is the Pope that the pilgrims here wanted to see. Earlier, he'd been handed the key to the city of Rio. He then blessed the flag of the Olympics that will be staged here in 2016. The cost of that has angered people here and led to weeks of violent protest. Brazilians wanted the Pope to address the social inequalities of life in Brazil.